We should look for May legs in every episode moving forward.
Yeah.
We've got to look for, I'll tell you what, cockbite, May legs, and we're going to have to mandatory look for priests as well.
Oh, I kick ass for the Lord.
Oh, we've got to do Brain Dead at some point. Anyway.
Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome to our first birthday! Oh my god! We've been banging on about reviewing Brain Dead, and now it's finally happening. Boys, welcome to Fucktown. Oh dear. So, yes, Kofi, even though there are going to be some spoilers ahead, can you please tell us, roughly, because there's a lot to cover here, Brain Dead?
Which way to tell the plot?
Probably chronologically, mate.
Mate, it doesn't make sense whichever way you tell it. There's a bunch of plague-carrying rats from Skull Island. They rape some tree monkeys, ending up in a Sumatran rat-monkey hybrid that is captured and stolen by some explorer guy. It gets taken to a zoo in New Zealand where it eats the other fucking monkeys, right? Then it attacks the main character, Lionel's mum.
Lionel?
Lionel?
Is that that's nearly Lionel.
Not Lionel Messi.
Lionel.
You were
what?
reading a note, weren't you? He was reading a note when he said that.
I'm definitely calling him Lionel now. But yeah, his mum gets bitten by this Sumatran rat monkey hybrid weird thing, goes brain dead, pretty much turns into a zombie, and we follow Lionel on his journey to, like, I don't know what he's trying to do.
Try to get laid and try and suppress the zombies from breaking out into the rest of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Zingaya!
You have the bite.
It's just like, what's the name, Professor Trelawney in Harry Potter? You have the grim.
That's an amazing intro, because like, obviously this film was one of the early films of Peter Jackson, of course, of the Lord of the Rings fame, but then he would go on to remake King Kong, and the start of this film is on Skull Island.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was filmed on Skull Island, wasn't it? It starts.
It was filmed on Skull Island.
It was. It starts with
it's not set in Skull Island, it's filmed there.
The beginning of this film was filmed on Skull Island, and they steal King Kong's young sibling, Little Kong.
Little Kong!
Obviously, the locals turn up to try and stop them by any means necessary, like throwing a spear nowhere near them and things like that. And the monkey bites one of them, and they have to chop his hand off to stop the infection spreading, but it doesn't stop.
Yeah, it's because he's got a bite on the other arm as well, yeah.
So then they just nank his head off. Obviously, the monkey just boards the plane, first class, headed for Wellington.
They don't check it. This wooden crate going on a plane. They're not checking it.
Yeah, it's the same airport that fucking Zoltan travelled in, isn't it? Where they just...
Yeah, well, they give him a quick rub and a squeezy.
Just pat him down. Yeah, it's dead dog, cool. And then they take the monkey to the zoo, and things get interesting from there when we meet young Paquita.
Paquita, yes, who works in like the greengrocers or something like that.
It's so funny.
Her mum is like a tarot card reader or something. It might not be her mum. I don't know who the fuck it is. It's brilliant because some guy comes in the shop and like he's just seeing the background like unfocused. Her mum just peeking behind the shelf like, oh, you like him.
I love that right at the start the mum's like this weird old gypsy woman who loves tarot, but the dad is like a stereotypical Italian American immigrant type guy, and he's just eating spaghetti with his white vest on, food all down it, just gobbing off at fucking everything. She gets the tarot out, he's just gobbing off at her because he fucking hates his wife. Like, I bet he hates the fact that they called the daughter Paquita. I bet he fucking hates it.
What alternative would you suggest?
I don't know.
Giuseppe.
Yeah. I love that Paquita completely buys into the tarot and just immediately changes her love interest from that like buff local
Roger,
lad,
is it?
yeah, who was going to Roger Paquita, and then she just immediately like, okay, I like the sneaky little virgin who lives with his mum. Perfect.
Sneaky little virgin.
He comes in the shop and he's like literally just falls over nothing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I fucking love Lionel May. Timothy Balm, the actor who played him, I think he's funny as fuck.
Yeah, he did
like,
really
he's
well.
got such a great persona where, like, he's trying to obviously juggle all the things happening at once and getting, like, stressed about it. He's got, like, Paquita trying to be a love interest to him. He's got his mum who's infected trying to look after her, and then she's infecting other people trying to keep it under wraps, and he's got loads of, like, slapstick ability when he's just trying to keep everything under control, and he's got great, like, comedic timing, and I think in general he just looks funny. Like, there's just something about the way he, like, his expressions and things, and the way he, like, talks and shit is just fucking great for this film, and it just sets a perfect tone. So yeah, now Lionel and Paquita are love interests, but only because the cards say so. Like,
She just completely disregards the other guy, doesn't she?
yeah. And then they go on a little date, don't they? They go to the zoo,
Of course they do.
where they meet the rat monkey, and they're like having like a like a montage of just happy on a date, doing things, making each other laugh, silliness, and then they like feed the monkeys an apple, but then the rat monkey just knocks the one clean out. He just reaches from the cage next door and just chins it.
I loved how we then get the story of how these monkeys came to be.
That zookeeper, oh my god. This guy is Oscar worthy. Get back, you little horrible shit. It's the way he like leans into Lionel and like, well, what I heard, all those little plague rats came onto the beaches, they all jumped off and they raped the little tree monkeys. Imagine that as a concept, a rat raping a monkey.
Yeah.
The scale is off. Like, how the fuck would that work?
The rats raped these monkeys and created these absolute little monsters who then proceeds to bite the mother who's been hiding in the bush to try and spy on the date.
Oh, doing the sun sex and suspicious parents.
Yeah, and she ends up getting bitten by the rat monkey. So she, like any normal human being would do when an animal bites you, you curb stomp it like American History X. You put it fucking bite the
Bite the
curb
cage.
and just stomp on its fucking head.
The bit that I love before that is the way that she gets it down to the ground is by whirlwinding her handbag and just twatting it on the back of the head. Oh god, see, after that, like, the mum is now obviously infected. She, like, gets taken home by Lionel, and, like, this couple show up to the house from the WLWL, the fucking, like, the Women's Welfare League or whatever it is. Yeah, and she's doing, like, a makeup and goes to put her best dress on, but then she just, like, cuts a chunk out her skin and it just starts to peel off.
Oh my
So
God.
Lionel, being a genius, just gets, like, the super glue out the drawer and just tries to glue her skin back in place. Oh, it's amazing.
It is actually funny. It's like if 13 Ghosts and Poltergeist had a child.
Oh, say that again, because you said poltergeist, not poultrygeist.
Oh my goodness. It's like Poltergeist and 13 Ghosts had a child together.
Oh,
Oh,
banging.
mate, that is such a good point that you nailed first time. I love it. That is a great point.
It's so
That
true.
is just off the top of your head like that. Brilliant.
I know.
Slick.
You have to keep all of that in.
I will. And it's in. Oh, it's good. So then we get the infamous, like, custard scene where they're just all, like,
Oh,
having
that's
it
actually
with,
horrible.
like, steak and beans and mash and shit. And they're like, have you, anyone got pudding? So they just bring out 4 bowls of custard, and it's like the mum's arm shoots, like, pus into the other guy's custard.
fucking
And
horrible.
he's just like, custard, just how I like it. Lovely and creamy.
But his wife or whoever she is watches that happen and is like gagging, but doesn't stop to go, no, don't eat that. She just watches it happen and then still leaves the room to go vomit while her husband or whoever he is just still sat there eating the custard and really fucking loving it.
It's fucking ridiculous. And then, like, the mum's ear falls off in the custard and she just eats her own ear.
That's what sends her over the top, innit? She like starts chewing the ear and she's like gagging and has to leave the room. I mean, again, at no point goes, your ear just fell off. Just, by the way, your ear's in your mouth.
She's got a fucking big chunky like pearl earring as well, and she doesn't even notice.
Yeah, she, like, spits it out, doesn't she? Oh, it's class. That woman's a cunt. The worst wing woman ever, like.
Wow, that was... He was like,
There's
yeah,
a sudden fucking explosion.
there was, an ear in there. Then that woman's a cunt. Wow.
Like, I segued on from your point and then segued back into it again.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. After they've had some lovely balls of custard, Paquita shows up with her dog, like legs it upstairs, and you just see her like, "Roo."
What do we...
Okay.
Sorry, I missed that. What do we hear?
Roo.
You need to... No, look, if you're going to reenact someone, reenact it properly. Can you add surprise into that? No, they're Spanish, so it needs to be a Spanish dog, please. Wouldn't just go... Ooh. It became posh. Ooh. Sounded like the start of Shooting Stars, you know. Uranu. Ooh.
Raoul.
Maybe he's not saying ow, maybe he's saying Raoul.
Raoul the dog. Well, that would make sense. But the dog's name is Fernando, the second most stereotypical Spanish name. And they run upstairs and like there's just a bit of fluff hanging out the mum's mouth.
And she pulls like a spine with fur on it out of her mouth.
Your mother ate my dog.
Not all of it.
Oh, yes. Oh my god. So yeah, like they fucking call for a nurse because they're like, holy shit, this old cunt's just eating a dog. She just like rips the nurse's head off.
He goes visit some mad German, Swedish, Finnish uncle for some sedatives, doesn't he?
Nearly European.
Oh, yeah.
Nearly European.
He goes to the vet. It's nearly you. What, you mean like Asian?
No. Well, I mean, Australasian.
Yeah.
Nice.
Australia. This man is far from Australasia. He turns around, he's like, "Oh, you want the tranquilizers?"
I think this is Dr. Wonderful. It's wonderful.
If you say it wrong again, I'll put you in intensive care. Been a year since that, and how far we've come. We're still talking about the same bastard characters.
It is definitely the same character. Well, he buys the tranquilizers off that fucking vet guy, doesn't he? And then he feeds the zombies tranquilizers on eggs on toast.
That is the common way that you feed zombies tranks.
Yes.
If you didn't know that, the joke's really on you, mate.
Things go fucking like completely off it here. He leaves the room for a bit, comes back, they're having sex, and then they have a little baby zombie.
Oh, we need to pull it back because we need to talk about who one of these zombies is. Priest!
Oh yeah,
I
the reverend.
guess for the Lord.
I kick ass for the
I
Lord.
kick ass for the Lord. This is the priest that kicked off our crack of doing priests in references in episodes.
No way.
This is
It
the
was,
priest
it
of all
literally was,
priests.
yeah. This was the priest that we first started talking about all that time ago, and then it became a running gag.
Yeah, I know. Oh, unbelievable. Because, like, obviously the mum's well fucked up by this point off all the tranquilizers, which, by the way, I love because Lionel goes to the basement to feed all the zombies trunks, and he's wearing, like, a protective uniform, but it's just, like, cricket knee pads and a tea towel wrapped around his neck. It's amazing. So, yeah, they have, like, the mother's funeral where we meet the priest, and, like, the man breaks out the coffin. There's, like, a massive stir. So, on the night after she's been buried, Lionel's like, right, I need to go rob the grave now to get me mum back so I can keep her properly under lock and key. And then they're interrupted by the bloody riffraff drinking in cemeteries. They're all dressed up like fucking proper greasers, aren't they? Just letting
Greasers.
fucking look at us, sweetheart. And one of them starts pissing on the grave. That's my mum you're pissing on. Fuck's sake.
So nonchalant.
And then she, like, bursts her hand through the grave and grabs his cock, doesn't she? And, like, drags him down and starts, like, ripping his ribs apart. The amount of blood, oh, mate, like, this film is recognised as being possibly the bloodiest film ever made. Like, in the final, like, which we'll get to, the final lawnmower scene alone, 300 litres of fake blood.
It's amazing.
Just
Jesus
in that
Christ.
scene.
I love that there's a bit where they like mock the amount of blood, where he's like trying to run away and it's so slippy he's just stuck on the spot running.
Yeah.
He's just not going
Can't
anywhere.
get away. Back at the cemetery, the priest like comes in to like save the day, try and kick the zombies off, and it's brilliant. It's It just becomes a kung fu film for about 40 seconds.
Yeah, for some reason, the priest is just hard as fuck and just can batter anyone by flying kicking them.
pretty
Ultimately,
fucking good.
is his own demise because he goes to fly and kick someone and they just grab his leg and flip him over and he's impaled on a statue. That's him gone. The 2 minutes that he was alive and not a zombie, he was probably one of the best characters in this film.
One of the best characters of all
Ever.
time.
Just ever, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so memorable.
But thankfully, that's not the end of him, because we get to spend some time with the I Kick Ass for the Lord priest as zombie mode.
Is he called a Zeist?
A Zeist.
Him
Oh, no,
and someone
this
else.
film comes-
I love that.
It's just the baby that comes like out of like so quickly. These two people, the priest and some other woman, have a baby, and it's a proper little shit, and it's so fucking funny.
They give birth to it. It's like they only shagged about 3 hours ago, and now they've got like a 3-year-old toddler.
Like,
What's
it's a
going
little
on?
fucking laugh whenever something funny.
He just laughs at everything. The best bit I love about that baby though is there's like a scene where he runs away and they've clearly used like an actor for that. Like,
Oh yeah,
Vern
it's Vern
Troyer.
Troyer.
was it Victoria? Yeah, it was,
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. No. Oh, the best bit with a baby is when they go to the park. Lionel just
Yeah,
thinks,
man.
"Oh yeah, I'm just gonna take this one out in a pram." Holy shit! This wasn't even in the original script either. They like got to the end of the film and they were like, "Oh shit, we've got some money left over. Should we do another scene?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's have a scene where they have the baby in the park and he's just getting smacked."
So good.
Just picks it up and starts smacking him off the climbing frames, head first off the swings.
so
And
good.
again, all the people around are just looking a bit funny and not telling him to stop battering a baby.
He's battering the baby, and there's a homeless man with like a bottle of whiskey and a brown paper bag. It just goes, and that's his contribution. He's just like spurring the fight on, like, "Go on, son, hey, smack that kid."
He's like the most zombie sounding person in the whole film.
It's also true. Our baby's absolutely legendary,
Yeah,
man.
it looks brilliant as well. When Paquita tries to put it in a blender and it just is like dancing off the blades. It's like running on the blades and she just can't get the little fucker in it. It's so good.
But then, like, he can't keep up with his little feet. He like eventually pings up, and she just punches him through a window.
But he just, as he's running on the blade, he's like pissing himself laughing as well, and he's just like
Yeah, yeah.
giggling about it. It's so good.
That's what I love, like, when we get into the final act, which I guess we'll kind of get into now. Like, the zombies, there's so many distinct ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to talk about Uncle Les. What a
Les.
character he is. He comes in because I think he's like Lionel's mum's brother or something. And he's like, "Oh, I want to come in. I want to get your house, Lionel. This is mine." And he just invites all his mates round for a fucking party.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Oh, it's because he sees like some zombies in the basement, doesn't he? And then he bribes Lionel to give him his house. And then he's like, "Oh, I want to throw a fucking housewarming party, mate." Yeah, okay.
He is just the big Les show, Les, isn't he?
He's just complete arsehole.
What's that little squirty thing he puts in his mouth?
That's his penis.
That's his No, he's got like a little rubber bag thing that he like.
Rubber bag.
It's ridiculous. Rubber bag. What a glamorous pairing of words. The zombies break loose and unleash hell. And when they do break loose, it's great because they've all been given poison off Lionel, and then he reads the bottle and it's like something like it's for animals, or like it enhances like whatever you're injecting. I don't know. It's got something on the bottle, and it makes all the zombies super roidy.
What a great point.
Thank you.
There's
Thank you.
this bottle and it does this thing, and I don't really know, but it does this thing and they're roidy.
It gives them steroidy powers.
Steroidy powers.
So now, boys, the party is on. The house is fucking flooded with zombies. And from this point on, every 30 seconds, my mind is blown. The amount of creative kills and just the way they use the zombies, like organs come to life and they're like a separate thing to the rest of the zombie. It's insane.
By this point, they'd just gone gone, fuck it. It doesn't matter what we do. We can do whatever the fuck we want. And they did, really, didn't they? I mean,
And it worked.
Yeah.
it's very, Kofi mentioned Poultrygeist earlier. This is very Poultrygeist-esque in the sense
Yes.
of it starts off a little bit normal and then just all of a sudden, shit, we've got raped monkeys that are biting people. And as soon as she stomps on its head, you can tell what kind of film it's going to be. This film's just one of my favourite films of all time.
I've got to shout out the guy who did the creature and the gore effects, a man called Richard Taylor. Mwah, superb. I can't work out how the fuck he managed to make this. Not only because of how creative he's done. Like in the third act, there's just multiple like memorable ones. There's like a guy who gets his rib cage ripped out. There's a guy who has his face peeled off and the eyes and the mouth are still moving. Like a woman is shocked. She like reacts to what's going on and she like puts her hands over her face in shock. Another zombie just punches her through the back of the head and
through
comes
the
out
mouth,
the
innit?
mouth.
Yeah, what the
But it
fuck? Oh,
all
yeah.
looks like it's the same shot. And then like you've got the pliers, like fucking Uncle Les is ripping teeth out with pliers, individual teeth, and it's just so many creative kills and really like inspired stuff. Like the garden gnome. Fucking there's just a guy who's got his head cut off, so like he just gets a gnome shoved in the neck and he's just walking around trying to catch people and it's just a body with a gnome for a face. And what's super impressive as well, I know we bang on about the budget nearly every episode. This was $3 million. I can't believe they achieved what they did with $3 million.
It was in 1992 as well.
So it's just such an impressively made film, and you can tell why Peter Jackson's went on to have such a good career. Not maybe The Hobbit, but everything else has been pretty fucking good, to be honest.
Even like the scenes where, you know, you've got the two zombies kissing at the table and then she kind of like pulls his face off. Like even the like scenes like that are done so well and look really good. Like there's not, you know, like, I think some of like the more over the top stuff is great, but it's almost like the smaller stuff that I find more impressive.
Yeah, there's like a fairly smaller one that I fucking loved. Like the nurse who's had her head like nearly fully ripped off eats some custard and it leaks like out her neck wound. So Lionel's got to like rip the head back and then pick the custard back up on a spoon and shove it down
shoves it
into
down
like the
throat.
neck.
Yeah.
Like shit like that. It's just that's just so creative and funny.
I really enjoyed it. Like I loved every single thing about it. It was proper stupid and there was over the top and really good. I'm definitely going to watch it again.
Yeah, it's absolutely one of my all-time favourite horror films, without question. And it's just brilliant to finally get to talk about it on the show, because before we even started doing Unleash the Ghouls, this was at the top. This is the film we need to get to at some point. And now we're here, and we're a year old, and life's good. By the way, if you're new to Unleash the Ghouls at this point, we've got plenty of compilations out, which are showing you some of our favourite moments from previous episodes, from the last 53 episodes. Jesus Christ. But we would not have made it 53 episodes through without, you know, the support from the comments and, you know, the likes we get and the shares we get and the views we get. Like, it's really helpful to us. And we put, like, a lot of fucking effort in collectively into what we do here. And the fact we can meet up every couple of weeks and have a laugh about films like this and talk about how much we love them and shit, and hopefully you enjoy us talking about them, then bingo bomb, boys.
Bingo bomb.
I mean, if you don't enjoy it, why are you here?
Yeah, why have you watched like half an hour of us?
That's the question I want to know. Like, if you've not enjoyed it up to this point, why did you subscribe? And if you're not subscribed, you probably should be, because you're a bit of a twat. So
Facts, can't put it any better than that.
yeah, look, it's my birthday and I'll say what I want.
It's our birthday, triplets we are. I think Kofi may have a different dad.
Yeah, I think non-identical triplets.
Fucking hell.
Kofi, do you want to say something to the Ghoul Gang?
Just a general thanks. It's just nice to know that people like to listen.
Oh, you cretins! Look at
But
you
yeah,
kissing
we are a bunch
ass.
of friends. We do like it.
don't
Yeah, we do like the
fucking-
people who fucking like us. And if you don't
No,
like
we
us, you
don't.
can fuck right off.
Don't suck up to them. You slagged them off in the WhatsApp group, and now we're recording. You're like, oh yeah, I love you. Whatever. Just be yourself. And then we went well off track here, didn't we?
We have,
Oh,
yeah, we have.
fucking
It's
hell, how did
Kofi's
that
fault.
happen? Yeah, it is my fault.
So there we go. That was our first birthday review of Brain Dead. We've got plenty more planned for this year. We've got plenty planned for the years ahead. Will you be there to join us? Yes, you will. Make yourself Ghoul Gang certified by slapping the buttons down below. And until next year,
Well, no, until next Friday.
Yeah, next week.
until next Friday, have a good one.
And subscribe.
Cheers.
Bye.